I'm Anusha. Welcome to Storytime. And we're going to read today The Curiosities by Jenna Fallion and Phil Lesney. Let's do this. The Curiosities came at dawn. By the time Miro woke, they had already chosen their nesting space. Now, guys, look who's here. Somebody has come to town, and they are the Curiosities. At first, the Curiosities were quiet. They blended in. At first, Miro didn't even notice them. Perched on his shoulders and nuzzled in his hair. At first, Miro thought the tingle he felt was just the warmth of the sun or the murmuring of the wind. Now, guys, the Curiosities are here, resting on his shoulder and resting on his head and just following him everywhere he goes. And there they come. But first time, he didn't even notice. But then again, they are here. They are here. But slowly, Miro began to see things differently. He began to feel things differently and do things differently too. The Curiosities would point and chirp and pull him towards places hidden away from everyday eyes. They showed him how to swim with the stars and tickle the songs from the earth. Now, guys, I think they are here to have some fun. As you can see, they follow Miro everywhere, and they've been giving him some company. And they are showing him how to swim with the stars and tickles the songs from the earth, guys. Hey, they showed him how to whisper up waves and weave clouds to make stories for the wind. Miro had never noticed all the oddments and snippets before. All those wonders and possibles waiting in the shadows where no one else looked. Now, guys, he didn't even know that the world existed. As you can see, he didn't even know how he could feel like that. But, they are showing him. I think the Curiosities are his friend. Maybe they are his friend. And, he's been experiencing all those wonders and possibilities. We were waiting in the shadows where no one else looked before. And when the night whispered its song across the earth and Miro could feel the Curiosities prickling inside him, then he would play his fiddle. The Curiosities would cheer and clap, the music becoming more wild and more wonderful than he could ever imagine. Then Miro and his Curiosities would dance and play deep into the night. Now, before long, others began to notice the Curiosities too. When Miro guided the weathered elder to her home, her soft hand on his arm and her world-wrinkled stories gentle in his hair, he smiled as he patted the head of a Curiosity, perched and listening to her words. Now, guys, as anybody coming near to him is actually noticing Curiosities too. And as you can see, just like this old lady that is helping to cross the road, is noticing his friends, his company. As you can see, look at them. They are there with him, and nobody else can say. But people are starting to notice the Curiosities. But sometimes the Curiosities were so loud and strange that people couldn't help but stare. The Curiosities trilled and gurgled, pulling at Miro's arms and flapping at his legs, whispering in his ear so that all about him disappeared into a buzz of cold and confusion. Now, guys, sometimes they can be very overwhelming. They are his companies. But then again, sometimes it seemed too much, and people were starting to notice them. As you can see, look at him. He's trying to shut them out, but then again, I don't think they are leaving him alone. People couldn't help but stare. Sometimes the Curiosities were so bright and brilliant that everyone turned away. And then no matter what it did, Miro was invisible. Now, guys, sometimes they would like be so big. They would so big and bright, and well, people would turn away from him and make Miro invisible. It made Miro invisible. One evening, as the sun tiptoed across the very tops of the trees, something itched at the curiosities. A wild, untamed storm, and furious and strong. The curiosities gathered, cheering and clapping and stomping and yowling. Miro demanded quiet. He pleaded for peace, but the curiosities would not be tamed. Now, guys, they grew and grew and grew, and it looks like they loved Miro's company and wouldn't leave Miro alone no matter how much he pleaded for peace, for a moment of peace, for just leave me alone. But then again, they would not care, and they cannot be tamed. They would not be tamed. They shrieked and roared. They washed over Miro, loud and strange and bright and brilliant and prickly and tingly, flapping and hissing and screeching and hurtling. The darkness wrapped itself around him, deep black and wet. Miro howled. He felt the ground vanish beneath him, and the sounds of the earth faded until all around him was deep silence. Now, guys, he loved those companies. He loved those curiosities, but they would not leave him alone. And they would not leave him alone. And all he could hear are those screeches, those flappies, those hissing and those screeching and this hurtling sound that made him invisible, and everything else faded around him. He just couldn't shut them. As you can see, he's trying too hard. He's not letting go. He's trying too hard to contain them, but it's just getting impossible for him. Then he heard it, a whisper of a voice, just a snippet of a world, wrinkled story, dancing on a wind. Miro uncrawled. He opened his eyes. Now, guys, there's something. He's hearing something. And there it was. A single thread of knowing, thin and fragile and almost invisible to his finger, but there, gently, carefully, Miro pulled. Now, guys, as that curiosities were wrapping and just tangling his world, he just noticed a thread of knowing, and gently and carefully, Miro pulled. And when the elder appeared, the ground grew again and under Miro's feet, and the sounds of earth broke through the hissed whispers of the curiosities. Now, guys, as he's trying to wrap his world around them. He cannot get rid of them. He's not able to tame them, but he's trying to comprehend how can he tame them. And now as he notices this thread of knowing, now he is noticing something. The elder helped Miro to his feet, brushing away the darkness. Miro could still feel the curiosities itching, but he could feel the thread too, getting stronger and harder to break. Miro rubbed his eyes and blinked in the night. He hadn't realized how many threads had already grown. Now, guys, as you can see, this elder, it looks like his mama. Well, he's trying to help him. He's noticing his struggled with curiosities, and well, with her thread, he's trying to wrap him and just pull him out of it, as you can see. And now in all that madness, he's seeing this hope of thread, and all the threads are growing. Miro soon found that more threads that grew, the easier it was shed the darkness when it came. And even though strangers still sometimes stared or turned away, Miro had the knowing of many others. And it seemed to Miro that the curiosities had chosen lots of other people too, in lots of different ways. Now, guys, as he is trying to unravel himself with all that chaosness, and his mom, well, let's say his mom, an elderly, is trying to help him with her thread, trying to bring him out of it, trying to help him control his curiosities, trying to help him be okay. And then again he notices that he's not alone. Everyone in this whole entire world has their own types of curiosities that they struggle with, that they try to handle with. And from time to time, when the breeze blew just so across the mountains and a hint of rain cartwheeled on the air, the curiosities would leave. The winds would spread and they would soar high on the wind. They always came back, but Miro didn't mind. Now Miro could swim with the stars and tickled the songs from the earth. He could whisper up the waves and weave clouds to make stories for the wind. Now Miro could see all the oddments and snippets, all those hidden wonders and possibles waiting in the shadows. Now with the help of his Atali, with the help of his mom, he could unravel how he could be happy. Let's say happy. How he could be happy. How he could do all those magical things with them curiosities being with him. But every now and then they would leave, and every now and then they would come back. But well, Miro didn't mind. Look at that. Miro didn't mind. And look at that. And can you see those curiosities can you see those curiosities around you like Miro? They are everywhere. You just need to embrace them. You just need to talk to your friends about it, to your elders about it, to your parents about it. And well, they are okay. They might seem chaotic. They might seem pretty hard to deal with. But then again, it's okay. Can you deal with them? It's okay. Look at that. It's such an amazing book. It's such an amazing book, guys. As you can see, it is a book, a beautiful celebration of disability, diversity, and pride in who you are, from one of Australia's most loved and awarded writers for children. It is a celebration of disability and diversity and pride in who you are. You are you. No matter what, you are you. You might feel that you are different, but you are no different. Every one of them have curiosities. Every one of us have curiosities, and we deal with them in our own way, and they can be beautiful. But then again, we might need to know how to deal with them, and that's okay. That's okay. With help of our parents, with our teachers, with help of our friends, we can be who you are. We are different, and that's okay. That's okay. And this is a lovely message from Jana, our author. When my child was 5 years old, they were diagnosed with Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome is a chronic neurological disorder that is characterized by rapid, repetitive, involuntary, and uncontrollable movements and sounds known as tics. For a person with Tourette syndrome, trying not to tick is like trying not to blink. After a while, the urge is overwhelming. People with Tourette syndrome often also have other neurodiversities such as ADHD, OCD, and anxiety disorders. Although dealing with neurodiversities and disabilities can be difficult, uncomfortable, and painful, the pathways and connections formed inside the brain to deal with these differences can enable people to perceive the world in insightful, understanding, and wondrously varied ways. My child is proud of their disability. It is part of their identity, part of who they are. While I wrote this book based on our experience of Tourette syndrome, I hope it can equally be read as a story for anyone who feels different, anyone who feels lost and alone, and anyone who has been found. I hope that the curiosities can encourage all of us to embrace and celebrate diversity. People are disabled not only by their impairment or the differences, but the way they are treated by society. We are all of us differently abled in different ways. Be proud. That is so true. We are all of us differently abled and in different ways, and we should be proud. We are proud. Yes, we are. That is amazing, guys. That is amazing. The Curiosities by Zena Fralion and Phil Leslie. What a beautiful book to celebrate our differences, to get together with them, to be friends with them, to accept them, to embrace them, well, to let our friends and parents and teachers know about them, and just be happy. Just be happy. We are different and we are differently able, and that's okay.